ST is displacement time graph.
ये वाला कौन सा ग्राफ था?
ST डिस्प्लेसमेंट टाइम ग्राफ होता है, ठीक है।
इसकी एक एग्जांपल दिखाइए, कौन सा वाला था?
ST डिस्प्लेसमेंट टाइम ग्राफ, ठीक है। ओके, सो अब since you already given the homework for the same scenario, right? So you can just skip this, right? This is the same question जो मैं आपको last time दिया, ये अलग दिया, ठीक है, same scenario. Okay, so now let's start deriving the equation, right? Let's start deriving the equations. तो अब equation of motion क्या होती है? Can anyone tell me कि what is the equation of motion? What do I mean by equations of motion? G. Anyone daring enough participate and speak up in the class? ठीक है, let's say this is the starting point and this is the ending point. It has initial velocity at this point, ठीक है, and at this point has a final velocity v. It took time t to travel from O to A and it is traveling at the acceleration of a, right? So up आपको you have first equation which is you can use this to solve. Let's say आपको final velocity दी हुई है, ठीक है, you're given this, you're given the time, you are given the acceleration, right? You can find out this thing, right? So you need an equation to basically find out any one of the unknown, right? So if we have four variables over here, first of all, let me define the variables. So what is u? U is the initial speed of the car. It's the initial speed of the car. Your v is your final speed of the car. And what is the time? What is t? It's the time taken. And what is accelerate? A? A is your acceleration, right? Of the car. So let's derive this equation, right? ये कैसे equation नहीं है, ठीक है? If you recall from your past life, right, which we have studied, what is acceleration? Is change in velocity upon time, right? And change velocity क्या होती है? Final velocity minus initial velocity upon time. ये हम देख चुके हैं पहले, right? So now let me insert an empty slide. ठीक है, so you have this equation in hand, that is acceleration equals to v minus u divided by time. So let me just make v subject, right? पहले यहाँ पे t divide हो रहा है, वहां जाके multiply हो जाएगा, it's going to be at equals to v minus u. And I want to make v subject, I'm going to send this u over there, so therefore it's going to be v equals to u plus at, right? That's how this equation has been derived. So it's just a derivative method or another representation of the acceleration equation using this, right? Which is v equals to u plus at. जिसमें u is initial speed है, v is final speed, r t is your time taken, and a is your acceleration, right? Now we have the second equation of motion, which is air, ठीक है. So this is also an important derivative equation, ठीक है. This will be applicable in some of your questions, right, or many. So let's derive it out, right? So again आपके पास speed time graph है, right? आपके पास speed time graph है and you want to find the displacement, ठीक है. So how do you find displacement from speed time graph? Let's say if you're given this graph of displacement time graph, let's say if you want to find, sorry मैं इसको speed variable का नाम बदल दूँ, speed का speed, ठीक है. So it's speed time graph, you want to find your displacement time graph. Again you want to find what? You want to find area under the graph, right? If you find area under the graph, you will get your speed time graph, displacement time graph, right? That is going to be something sort of this, right? तो ये आपका जो क्वेश्चन में होमवर्क दिया है उसका आंसर शुड लुक लाइक दिस। ठीक है। ओके, सो लेट्स सी के व्हाट शेप इज दिस। हैव यू सीन दिस शेप बिफोर? इसका नाम क्या होता है शेप का? जी, व्हाट शेप इज दिस? दिस इज 90, दिस इज। Yes, anyone. What is the name of this shape? हेलो, आप सब माशाल्लाह से क्लास 10 या 11 में, राइट? It's a trapezium, right? It has a parallel side P1, it has a parallel side P2, and it has a certain height, right? So it's this shape is called a trapezium. And how do you find area of a trapezium? It's basically half into sum of parallel sides into the height, right? I hope it makes sense. सबको ये formula याद है? Raise your hand, give me a thumbs up if everyone remember the formula. मशाल, रयान and हमजा।
सर याद है मुझे।
याद है, ठीक है। तो याद क्यों नहीं आया आपको उससे पहले? मशाल, याद आया या भूल गई? ओके, ठीक है, भूल गए थी, याद कर लें आप, ठीक है। सो इफ यू जस्ट सी दिस पिक्चर केयरफुली, राइट, दिस इज, लेट मी जस्ट, दिस इज द इनिशियल स्पीड, राइट? बिकॉज इस स्पीड से ये स्टार्ट हो रहा है, ठीक है। सो दिस इज द इनिशियल स्पीड u, and this is the final speed which it has reached at time equals to 5, right? And this is the time it took, right? ठीक है जी। So just simply apply the formula of area under trapezium, you will get this equation, right? That is as simple as it is. ठीक है जी। So let me just choose a, you can say a equality color, ताकि you don't judge me कि I only use dark colors, right? So what is displacement is going to be the area under this trapezium, right? Area under trapezium. I know कि it's difficult, थोड़ा नई concept grasp कर रहे हैं। Okay, you have the recordings, please watch them again and again. जहाँ queries हो मुझसे वापस पूछे, ठीक है? So this is half into sum of parallel sides. Parallel sides, ये दो parallel sides हैं, ठीक है? So it's going to be u plus v and the height, right? The height क्या है यहाँ पे? Height is your t. And if you simplify it further, it's going to be u plus v divided by 2 into t, right? And therefore you have reached your second equation, therefore shown, right? And you have proven the equation कैसा है। I hope it makes sense. If it makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it does not, I will repeat again.
सर मुझे ये तो समझ आ गया जो आप अभी बता रहे हैं, लेकिन ये नहीं समझ आया कि ये स्पीड टाइम ग्राफ का डिस्टेंस टाइम ग्राफ में कैसे बदलते थे। मैं भूल गया ये कर्व कैसे आता था।
ये कर्व कैसा आता था? ठीक है, ये आपका होमवर्क है ना? तभी तो मैं छोड़ा है मैंने। दिस इज होमवर्क, राइट? यू वांट, इफ यू सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन यू विल गेट योर आंसर। ठीक है।
नहीं सर, किस पॉइंट पे हम कर्व करते थे मैं भूल गया, आपने शायद बताया था मुझे ये
कर्व इज
ऊपर।
इंक्रीजिंग ग्राफ। अगर इफ यू गेट अ कर्व, इट मींस कि ग्राफ, दैट ग्राफ इज कॉल्ड एन इंक्रीजिंग ग्राफ, राइट? ये मैंने इसी एग्जांपल को सॉल्व करा है, ठीक है। मैं हम लोग यहाँ से यहाँ पे आ चुके हैं, आपको यहाँ से यहाँ पे जाना है, ठीक है। तो यू शुड गेट दिस शेप, इंक्रीजिंग ग्राफ, ठीक है।
ये कैसे करेंगे यहाँ, उससे कर्व पे कैसे जाएंगे, ये
अच्छा,
तो नहीं
कैसे
बताया आपने।
करेंगे इसके लिए मैं आपको दे देता हूँ वैल्यू, राइट? तो टू बी मोर स्पेसिफिक, इफ यू वांट टू बी मोर स्पेसिफिक, यू कैन सॉल्व दिस एग्जांपल, राइट? आपके पास इसमें वैल्यूज भी हैं, ठीक है, हर पॉइंट की। सो इंस्टेड ऑफ दिस यू कैन सॉल्व दिस, राइट? इसी ग्राफ को आप सॉल्व करें ताकि इसके अंदर वैल्यूज हैं, यू कैन डायरेक्टली पुट द वैल्यूज एंड गेट योर आंसर, राइट? तो पीछे वाले क्वेश्चन को आप भूल जाएं। लेट मी फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल डू दिस। जस्ट सॉल्व दिस एग्जाम्पल। इसमें आई कैन टेक मल्टीपल पॉइंट्स। आई वांट जस्ट टेक दिस पॉइंट्स, मैं जब मार्क कर रहा हूँ, टू टेक पॉइंट पी कंसिडरेशन, यू टेक दिस पॉइंट इन कंसिडरेशन, दिस पॉइंट बी। ठीक है, दिस इज पॉइंट ए। इस पे वैल्यू आपके पास जो कोऑर्डिनेट्स है 0,20। दिस इज पॉइंट बी, इसके कोऑर्डिनेट्स इज 2,28। ठीक है, एंड दिस टेक, दिस इज योर T1, this is your T2, and take this point। ठीक है जी।
सही है सर, मैं समझ गया, लेकिन अगर किसी सवाल में वैल्यूज नहीं दी हुई हो तो हम अपनी तरफ से कर्व बनाते लाइन के
वो
हिसाब से।
स्केच बोलेंगे आपको ना, स्केच बोलेंगे। तो अगर आपको आइडिया है कि हाउ डू वी ट्रैक बैक एंड ट्रेंड क्या होगा क्वेश्चंस का, सो स्केच में यू जस्ट नीड टू गिव योर स्केच, नॉट वैल्यूज। मैं आपको एग्जांपल इसलिए दे रहा हूँ ताकि यू हैव वैल्यूज, यू कैन प्रूव योर आंसर कि आपका आंसर ठीक है। ठीक है,
सही है।
नाउ यू हैव योर
सही
कोऑर्डिनेट्स, आप आराम से निकाल सकते हैं इसके एरिया। ठीक
है।
है।
जी सही है। आप ये भेज रहे हैं ग्रुप पे होमवर्क?
हाँ, अभी मैं ग्रुप पे भेजूंगा। नाउ आपका शेप ट्रायंगल नहीं होगा, इट्स गोइंग टू बी ट्रेपेजियम, राइट? तो मैं इसका हिंट चेंज कर देता हूँ ताकि यू कैन प्रूव योर कॉन्सेप्ट्स के जो सर ने बताया वो सही बताया, राइट? लेट मी जस्ट सेव इट आउट फर्स्ट। सेविंग में थोड़ा टाइम लगता है बिकॉज मैंने बहुत
आ,
सारी यूज कर
वो
ली है।
होमवर्क करके आपको भेजना है ना, वो पीडीएफ के तौर पे?
PDF इन द ग्रुप, राइट? लेट मी गिव यू हिंट, इसका हिंट मैं आपको अपडेट कर देता हूँ ताकि
ग्राफ, ग्राफ बनाना है या फिर बनाना है ना?
आपको सारी वर्किंग दिखानी, ग्राफ स्केच करना है इसको तो।
सही
ये
है।
है ना, ये तो बराबर किया। ठीक है, so if you have parallel side P1, if you have a parallel side P2, if you have something height, so इसका एरिया जो निकालते हैं, और किसी को फॉर्मूला याद नहीं है, that is half into P1 plus P2 into height, right? Okay, I hope it makes sense. Okay, so let's move on, and we have 10 more minutes. Yes, yes, we have 10 more minutes. So आपके लिए एक ताज़ा ताज़ा क्वेश्चन मैंने रेडी किया हुआ है, and I believe कि you are all ready to solve the questions, right? So क्या है वो क्वेश्चन? लेट मी जस्ट टेक यू ओवर देयर। हमने डिराइव कर ली है इक्वेशंस, अब जल्दी से क्वेश्चन आप सॉल्व करें। ठीक है, यू हैव टू इक्वेशन इन योर हैंड्स। The first equation is v equals to u plus at. Second equation is s equals to u plus v divided by 2 times t, right? इसमें आपके पास वेरिएबल्स की क्या है? u is your initial speed and v is your final speed and t is your time taken, a is your acceleration and s is your distance, or you can say displacement. You have, first of all, whenever you solve a question, you should list out क्या वो given क्या है. Starts from rest, right? So initial speed is 0 and acceleration आपको दी हुई है, it's 1 meter per second square. You're given the time also, it's 20 seconds. You want to find the final speed and the distance she travel, right? So you want to find out what? You want to find out s क्या है, you want to find out v क्या है, right? So I guess now it's pretty simple to solve.
सही, जो स्पीड का फॉर्मूला है इस पे u माइनस वी है, ये u प्लस वी है?
प्लस है, ये आपको माइनस दिख रहा है समझा?
ये प्लस है तो मेरा आंसर तो बहुत ज्यादा आ रहा है स्पीड में।
बट ट्रस्ट योर सेल्फ, जो भी आंसर आ रहा है मुझे बता दें। So what is the final speed? What is your distance traveled?
मेरी मैंने अभी तक सिर्फ स्पीड निकाली, मेरी 2110 आ रही है मीटर पर सेकंड।
2.10, 2.1 आ रही है या फिर 2 पॉइंट समथिंग आ रही है?
210 आ रही है, पता नहीं क्यों।
210 आ रही है, ओके, ये ज्यादा है बहुत।
यही तो कह रहा हूँ।
थिंक क्या गलती किया? Anyone else who has solved the question?
सर आई हैव सॉल्व्ड। मेरी स्पीड आ रही है 20 मीटर पर सेकेंड
Okay,
और डिस्टेंस 10 मीटर्स।
good. So मशाल का आंसर आ रहा है 20 मीटर पर सेकेंड and distance is 10 meters. ठीक है. I guess everyone is done now, so I can start. ठीक है. Let me just choose for. Let's first of all find the final speed, right? तो स्पीड का फॉर्मूला आपको डायरेक्टली पता है, इट्स u+at, राइट? So everything is written over here. Data मैं सारा list out कर दिया था. Just put in the value, right? So v equals to 0 plus acceleration is 1, time is 20. So it's going to be basically 20 meter per second. ठीक है, so your final speed is 20 meter per second. हमजा आपने क्या करा था? Let's solve for part B. We want to find कितना distance travel किया है. So your distance का formula is u plus v divided by 2 times t, right? And you know the initial speed is 0, final speed आप निकाल चुके हैं, that is 20 meter per second, and you it's going to divide by 2 and time taken is 20. ठीक है, so it's coming out to be 20 upon 2 times 20. So 2 ones are 2 tens are, so your distance traveled by the cyclist is 200 meters, right? And that is your answer. That's how you should do your working, that every step is crystal clear to the examiner and it gives you full marks. Take it. Okay, so any questions till this particular point? If not, raise your thumbs. Give me a thumbs up. ठीक है, हमजा को क्लियर नहीं है. It's clear to Ryan, it's clear to Mashal. What about Hamza? Hamza, yes, clear है? No. Should I explain something over here?
सर आपका स्पीड क्या आ रही है?
It's 20 meter per second.
मेरी 21 आ रही है।
21 क्यों आ रही है? इनिशियल स्पीड 0 है.
ओह सही है, फिर 20 आ रही है।
ठीक है, तो 1 कहाँ से आ गया भाई? ओके, तो let's start, let's move on. अच्छा जी, अब इंटरेस्टिंग डिस्कशन है. दिस वाज गोइंग टू बी लास्ट डिस्कशन फॉर टुडे, एंड इसके बाद you have a homework. This is going to be discussed in the next class because we don't have enough time, right? अच्छा जी, so हुआ क्या कि falling bodies, right? So in air, a coin falls faster than a small piece of paper, right? I'm going to skim through the content and then explain क्या हो क्या रहा है. In a vacuum, they fall at the same rate as maybe shown in Plato figure 1.2.6. देखते हैं. So what is happening over here, right? So this was the famous experiment of Galileo Galilei. ठीक है, Galileo Galilei ने भाई ने बताया कि सन हमारे सेंटर में है, नॉट द अर्थ. जो आप स्टोरी सुन के बोर हो गए थे हमजा भाई. हाँ, दिस इज अनदर फेमस एक्सपेरिमेंट ऑफ गैलीलियो गैलीली. ठीक है, so this is the lean tower of Pisa, right? It's pretty famous, it's still standing like this. It's the lean tower of Pisa. ठीक है, तो हुआ क्या था, गैलीलियो
सर
गैलीली
इसके बाद,
वेंट.
सर ये जब आप पढ़ा दें तो मुझे वो दिखा देगा कि आपका डिस्टेंस क्या है।
ठीक है, श्योर. सो गैलीलियो गैलीली वेंट टू द टॉप, एंड एट दैट time it was 18th century. There was no mobile phone, no camera, so he called all the people and people all stood over here, right? They all stood over here to watch his famous experiment. What was the experiment? He took a small cannonball. Let me choose another color. He chose basically two cannonballs. One was a small cannonball, and one was a huge cannonball. Right? Okay. He dropped them at the same time, ठीक है, दिस इज कैनन 1 C1, दिस इज कैनन 2 C2, राइट? एनी आस्क द क्वेश्चन टू द ऑडियंस, which cannon ball would touch the ground first? Yes, what do you think, Mashal, Hamza and Rayan? So which cannonball, the bigger one or the smaller one, which would touch the ground first?
Sir, I think both of them would touch at the same time.
Okay, Rayan says that both of them will touch at the same time. What about Hamza?
स्मॉलर वन पहले जाएगी,
Hmm?
शायद स्मॉलर वन
Okay,
जो
so
वो है कैनन बॉल।
what about Mashal?
सेम है, छोटी वाली पहले जाएगी शायद।
So you support Hamza, right, Mashal?
यस सर।
Okay, ठीक है, सही है. So the answer is, and he proves to the entire world. What was the answer? They would touch at the same time. ठीक है, अभी क्यों है? This is your small cannonball C1. This is your big cannonball C2, right? दोनों को बेसिकली क्या फोर्स नीचे लेके आ रही है? ग्रेविटी, राइट? ग्रेविटी, राइट? एंड रयान वन द गेम, ठीक है, रयान इज सेलिब्रेटिंग ओवर हियर. सो दोनों पे ग्रेविटी लगती है, राइट? एंड इज ग्रेविटी कांस्टेंट फॉर ऑल ऑब्जेक्ट्स इन द एंटायर अर्थ? यस, ठीक है. एंड व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ग्रेविटी? दैट इज 10 मीटर पर सेकंड स्क्वायर, राइट? सो व्हाट इज द फॉर्मूला ऑफ वेट? अगर आपको याद हो, वेट होता है मास टाइम ग्रेविटी, राइट? If you want to find gravity, that is going to be weight upon mass. ठीक है? So despite the shape, despite the size of the objects, this value is going to be constant, right? And since acceleration is constant, they're going to touch the ground at the same time. ठीक है? And इस पे air resistance का effect तो ज़्यादा होता नहीं है, because on spherical objects, ठीक है? On spherical objects, air resistance becomes negligible, right? So this is the film experiment which he showed to the entire audience physically using cannonballs. Now it has been proven experimentally in a chamber of vacuum. ठीक है, USMI prove हो चुका है. So अगर आप feather को अभी ball से देखें तो feather would slow down just because of air race, right? If you remove and just produce a vacuum, coin and a piece of paper would come at the same time. ठीक है? So that's the beauty of physics, right? So whatever you learn, whatever you see, whatever I teach you, ठीक है? Whatever gibberish you see कि physics book में लिखा हुआ है, it's all true, right? We have observed them physically. ठीक है? Every theory which you learn in physics has been tested also, right? So this is your homework. So you want to also complete this question as a homework assignment, right? So these two homeworks are both due before tomorrow's
कब सबमिट करना है?
before tomorrow's class. ठीक है, you can do it right now or just before the class, right? But submission before the class सबकी हो. So any questions in today's lecture up till now? Should I repeat something? If not, if everything is clear, give me a thumbs up. So this was supposed to be done. Let's discuss it out quickly. तो क्या है इसमें? Let me just rub it out. Okay. And insert an empty slide, right? So let me duplicate this figure over there. Okay. So I'm going to label some points over here. जरा गौर से देखें कैसे कर रहा हूँ mark. So I did label some points in the question before. Yeah, I labeled these points, right? So let me take a screenshot of this. This would be helpful in solving this question. इसकी जगह मैं इसको पेस्ट कर देता हूँ. So it is pretty simple. You want to sketch the displacement distance time graph from speed time graph, right? You want to sketch distance time graph from the speed time graph, right? अब अगर मैं आपको फॉर्मूले से बताऊं कि हम कैसे करेंगे इसको, so if you recall the formula of speed, what is the formula of speed? It is distance upon time. If you want to find distance, that is going to be speed times time, right? So distance from the speed time graph is simply area under the curve, right? Area under the graph. ठीक है, मैं आपको पॉइंट्स दिए थे, मल्टीपल्स T1, T2, T3. So let's consider this first shape over here, which is this one, right? So since it starts from this particular point, and displacement in the start should be 0 because the object starts from reference point, right? Let's say this is your car over here. ठीक है, इसका प्लॉट हमने किया हुआ स्पीड टाइम ग्राफ ओवर हियर. So it starts from a reference point O, right? So initially जब start कर रहे तो obviously distance ने travel 0 किया हुआ, right? So let me just mark these regions. This is area region AB. This is region BC, right? So at T1, obviously when your T is basically 0, the distance should be 0, right? Because it starts from reference point. सही है नहीं? तो ये पॉइंट आपका पहला पॉइंट आ गया और द डिस्प्लेसमेंट टाइम ग्राफ दैट इज 0,0, दैट इज योर पॉइंट A bar. So let's talk about at T2. What is happening at T2? So at T2 you have a specific shape which is a trapezium, right? If I draw it correctly and neatly, this comes out to be a trapezium, right? इसकी जो perpendicular side है that is 20, this is 20, and this point जिसकी height है जो this height I'm talking about, ठीक है, this one is 20 and this one is 28, right? This height is 28 and the distance, the height of this trapezium is basically 2 seconds, right? यहाँ से यहाँ तक AB the region है, that is 2 seconds. Label it 2. So you want to find out the area, basically displacement at T2 will be area under this graph of trapezium, right? इसका formula होता है half into sum of parallel sides into basically the height, right? 2. This 2 and 2 cancels out. So your displacement at T2 is 20 plus 28 is 48 meter, right? So your second point B bar is going to be at 2 seconds, it is at 48, right? So now let's solve it out at T3. Okay, so T3 where I have this entire trapezium. Let me choose this color. I have this entire trapezium, right? This one. This bigger one trapezium. Okay, let me just draw the shape over here. So it's again this. The height of this is still 20. And this is point A, this is point C. The height of this is 36. ये point मैंने आपको label कर दिया था. And the time, the length of this trapezium, the height of the trapezium, the blue one is going to be 4 seconds, right? It's 4. So this is 4. Again, apply the formula of trapezium. So displacement at T3 would be area of trapezium half into sum of parallel sides, 20 plus 36 into the height of this trapezium, that is 4. So 2 ones are 2 twos are. The displacement at T3 is going to be 20 plus 36 times 2. So it's 112 meters. So your third point for plotting is coming out to be point C bar. That is at 4 seconds, it is at 112 meters, right? So now you simply plot this and you can possess your displacement time graph, distance time graph. So let me insert the axis over here. This is T in seconds. This is distance in meters, right? This is the origin over here. and let me mark the seconds, the times. So 1 2 3 4 5 7. Right, this is 1 second, this is 2 seconds, this is 3 seconds, this is 4 seconds, this is 5 seconds. So 1 2 3 4 5. So your maximum displacement is coming out to be 112. So let's use a scale of 20. So it's going to be 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, right? So it's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and 120. So we have 3 points to plot over here. The first point is A bar, ठीक है, जो आप निकाल चुके हैं, that is coming out to be 0, 0. The distance graph start from 0, 0. So you have your third point, then you have your second point, and then third point, right? Second point is your 2, 48, and your third point is 4, 1. Simply plot these 3 points on the graph and create a sketch, right? That's it. So your first point is this. This is your A bar, and your second point is 2, 48. So 48, this is 50. 40 would be around this. Okay, this would be around approximately here. This is point B bar, and at 4 seconds it travels at goes to 120. That is this point, right? So at 4 it's going to be sort of 112. So you can see it's going to be sort of, let me just fix my point. 2, 48 would be this around here, right? So it's going to be sort of this trend. ठीक है, it's going to be a curve. मेरे scaling ठीक नहीं है मैंने. Going to be a curve, right? Let me just fix it again. This is going to be this point. Point B bar. And this is 112. ठीक है जी. So it's going to be sort of, ठीक है, it's not a straight line, it's a curve over here. ठीक है, मैं यहाँ से फिक्स कर देता हूँ ताकि आपको आइडिया हो जाए. Right, so it's going to be increasing curve, right? मैंने यहाँ की एक्सेस थोड़ी बड़ी कर दी बहुत ज़्यादा. That is why it's coming out to be sort of a straight line वाला trend. ठीक है, so it's going to be a increasing curve. ठीक है. So if I summarize this, what was the basically plan to show you guys? If we have acceleration time graph, which is a constant line, if you find area under the curve, right, you will find the speed time graph, which is going to be a straight line. ठीक है. And if you find the area of this, again, this speed time graph, you will end up with this distance time graph. That is going to be an increasing time rate, like this. ठीक है. That's how you backtrack. And now any questions? Is it clear?
Sir, can you move to the previous slide, 41 slide? I
Okay.
just wanted to ask that when you're using the formula 1 upon 2 P1 plus P2 and then multiplied by height, so what would be the height P? Uh,
एक मिनट रुकिए जरा, ये मेरा PowerPoint is on some drugs. Let me fix this. Distance. हाँ जी, तो आप बोल रहे हैं कि फॉर्मूले में ये हाइट क्या है इन दिस फॉर्मूला,
हाँ
राइट?
जी, फॉर्मूला में जो हम मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हैं हाइट से, वो हाइट कौन क्या होगी?
हाँ, this is the height. This is the height. If I just show you over here, so let me just insert a blank slide. So if you recall from your basic maths class, तो आपने trapezium देखा ये होता है, right? This is parallel side 1, this is parallel side 2, and this is the height, right? तो सिमिलरली जो हमने अभी प्लॉट देखा है उसमें आपका जो शेप बन रहा था, ठीक है, दिस इज स्पीड टाइम ग्राफ एंड इट्स कमिंग आउट टू बी दिस, राइट? लेट्स से इफ आई क्रिएट अ शेप till t1, So it's coming out with this shape, right? So it's comparable to this shape figure, right? It's comparable to this. This is the parallel side 1. This is the parallel side 2. And this is the height. This is the height. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे इनिशियल 0 है, तो t1 minus 0 height would be what? t1 minus 0, it would be basically t1. तो यहाँ पे हमें t1 की वैल्यू दी हुई थी, it was 2 seconds, right? So that was 1 minus 0, 2 minus 0. So that is the base was, the height was basically 2 over here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so in the second one, when we are going to solve T2, so the height would be 4,
t3 तक, yeah.
T3.
जी जी जी. That's the
Got it.
side at which the trapezium is standing, that is the height.
Okay, thank you, sir.
ठीक है. So I hope this is clear, and let me just came through another homework question which was given to you guys. It was just an experiment. उसको पूरा explain किया हुआ था लोगों ने. Just had to answer some उसके corresponding question, right? I'm going to just explain this theoretically. So motion of a falling object, right? इसमें हो क्या रहा है, हमारे पास इन लोगों ने experiment setup दिया हुआ है. Place something soft on the floor to absorb the impact of the masses. So they are throwing the masses, right? So ये जो mass है, this is the mass over here. They're dropping the mass and it's going to land on the floor, right? So you want to keep something soft on the floor so that it does not get damaged, right? Take care to keep you well away from the obviously falling masses so that you don't hurt yourself. So इन लोगों ने बताया कि how do you arrange the setup over here? So arrange experiment setup as shown in figure over here, figure 1.2.8, and investigate the motion of a 100-gram mass falling from the height of 2 meters, right? So जो यहाँ तक it is basically falling till 2 meters, right? यहाँ पे नीचे ground है हमारे पास, ठीक है? A decorative timer has a marker that vibrates 50 times a second and makes dots on 150 seconds interval on a paper tape. Throw it. Repeat the experiment with 200 grams and compare your results with 200 those of 100 grams. ठीक है? So अब what is a ticker tape timer? मैं आपको ही बता दूं ताकि आपको उसके बाद एग्जाम क्वेश्चन इजी है. ठीक है? So what is a ticker tape timer? Okay. So ticker tape timer is as follows. Basically, you have a machine over here and then it extends the tape over here, right? So this machine basically marks or punches dots on this paper tape, right? This is paper tape over here. तो होता है क्या, it marks dot, right? It marks dots over here. So इसकी frequency basically क्या है? Frequency is 50 hertz, right? So what does frequency means here? Frequency, if you want to find the time takes, if you recall that frequency time period is 1 over frequency, so 0.02 seconds. ठीक है? So हर dot के बीच में जो gap होगा time का, that is going to be 0.02 seconds. So after every 0.02 seconds, you're going to mark another dot. ठीक है? So this is indicative timer over here. So आप कर क्या रहे हैं basically? आपने इसको लगा दिया. Just let me give you example. Let's imagine you have a car, a toy car. आपने इसको basically अपने fix कर दिया with a indicative timer, right? And this is the machine which basically marks the dots. ठीक है? And after basically आपने ना इसको move किया with constant speed, right? Constant speed. So you will see this particular result on the tape, which is going to be the following. This is your, let's say this is your tape. ठीक है? You will see the following result. It has equal dots marked over. ठीक है? So ये जो distance है between the dots, this is going to be same. ठीक है? So let's imagine this is t equal to 0. So at t equals to 0.02, it will mark another dot. At t equals to 0.04 seconds, it will mark another dot. So at t equals to 0.06 seconds, it will mark another dot. ठीक है? So ये जो difference है between marking every dot is 0.02 second, right? That is a ticker tape timer. So what you can do, you can plot this graph. ठीक है, if you plot distance time graph, the distance between the dots, that is going to be the following, right? So this is time, this is distance. You will get this following graph. ठीक है. If you want to sketch इससे speed time graph, if you already know, ठीक है, if this gradient निकालना पड़ेगा, right? You want to find the slope. And how do you find the slope? You can see it's a straight line over here. So what's the slope of a straight line? It is distance upon time, right? That is going to give you speed. Since slope of a straight line is always constant, you will get this particular shape. ठीक है. And hence we know कि हमारे पास speed constant थी गाड़ी की. That's how you can derive this experiment. You can understand. So similar चीज यहाँ पे हो रही है आपके पास. ठीक है, सिमिलर चीज आपके पास यहाँ पे हो रही है in this experiment. Inside of the car you have a mass. ठीक है, so mass is getting dropped. So obviously going to have some this phenomena happening over here, right? Just want to compare. अगर मैं mass बढ़ा दूं तो फिर क्या होगा? Does that make sense? What is the question asking?
यस
ठीक है
सर, बेसिक चलो नहीं समझ।
जी हमजा.
नहीं, मैं आंसर बता रहा था, बता दो या नहीं?
नहीं अभी आंसर
पूछ
नहीं
रहा
बताया.
हूँ।
अभी आंसर नहीं बताया. ठीक है. मशाद
सही है।
क्लियर? रयान क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
रयान इज इट क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. सो नाउ यू नो व्हाट इज अ टिकर टेप टाइमर. एंड अब बस इंस्टेड ऑफ अ कार यू हैव अ फॉलिंग मास. ठीक है, तो मास फॉल कर रही है. टिकर टेप, दिस इज अ टिकर टेप टाइमर. ठीक है, दिस इज द टाइमर, टिकर टेप टाइमर विच इज मार्किंग द डॉट्स. ठीक है, एंड ये डॉट्स आपके मार्क हो रहे हैं. आप सही है जी. सो इन लोगों ने आपको ट्रेंड दिया हुआ है. ठीक है, सो आप उसको प्लॉट करेंगे. यू हैव सम डिस्कशन क्वेश्चंस. सो एवरी आंसर कैन वेरी, राइट? सबका आंसर अलग अलग हो सकता है, बट लॉजिक शुड बी सिमिलर, राइट? लेट्स से अगर हमदा ने बोला है कि अगर हम मास को बढ़ा देंगे, सो इट विल स्टिल हैव द सेम शेप. वी हैव डिस्कस दिस, राइट? वी हैव डिस्कस दिस कि if you make an object fall of different masses, it will come out at the same time, right? हम कर चुके हैं. So similar scenario पे आपको experiment setup किया है लोगों ने in a lab to basically make you guys understand के and ask some questions के will it be same or not. तो reflect to this theory जो हमने discuss किए in the class, that would help you guys to solve the question, right? So I guess it is clear now. Let's finish out the chapter and then I have planned some past paper questions with you guys. ठीक है? So acceleration of free fall. सही है. So what is this phenomenon? Let's discuss it out in detail. Let's imagine, let me just insert a blank slide over here. So imagine a person is standing on the roof of a building. ठीक है जी. Person is standing on the roof of a building and he throws the ball, right? A tennis ball. Obviously it will accelerate, right? Due to gravity. So if you have a multi-flash photo, let me first of all read the content. क्या बता रहे हैं यहाँ पे? All bodies falling freely under the force of gravity do so with uniform acceleration of air resistance is negligible, right? मतलब air resistance is not going to have any impact on the falling of the ball. ठीक है. So this acceleration is called acceleration of free fall that is denoted by italic letter, that is gravity G. Its value is exactly 9.8 meter per second square, but in your O levels we use 10 meter per second square, right? This is the definition which you're going to write in your exams if they ask you what is acceleration of free fall. So acceleration of free fall of an object near to the surface of the earth is approximately constant, right? Because we assume कि अगर हम अर्थ पे खड़े हुए हैं, ठीक है, so every person is getting pulled by gravity which is constant, right? And इसकी value जो precisely है, that is 9.81 meter per second square, but we're gonna use, we're approximated to 10 meter per second square in a question, right? That is acceleration of free fall, right? So अब let's imagine this scenario जो आपको मैंने बताया कि मैंने बॉल थ्रो की, right? अब what would happen over here if I take, let's say I have a multi-flash camera. I have a multi-flash camera. So can you explain what is a multi-flash camera?
Sir, it takes a picture every at every few milliseconds.
हाँ, तो बेसिकली इट टेक्स मल्टीपल फोटोज आफ्टर वेरी स्मॉल पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, राइट। तो ये पूरे बॉल के मोशन कैप्चर कर लेगा, ठीक है। लेट्स इमेजिन दिस इज द फोटो विच द कैमरा कैप्चर, ठीक है। इसके अंदर बॉल का मोशन ऐसे आ रहा है, ठीक है। इनिशियली इट वाज दिस, देन इट वाज दिस, देन इट वाज दिस, इट बिकेम ऑलमोस्ट कांस्टेंट, ठीक है। सो दिस इज द डिस्टेंस 1, this is distance 2 which increased, and then distance 3, distance 4, ठीक है, so on and so forth. So if you plot इसका distance time graph, ठीक है, imagining कि हमारा रेफरेंस पॉइंट ये है, so initially हमारे पास this is basically distance fall in, ठीक है, कि इसने कितना डिस्टेंस फॉल किया यहाँ से, this would be distance 1, this would be distance 2, ठीक है, and this would be distance 3 and so on, right. So it would start initially 0 because this was the reference point. Distance fall in is 0 initially, right, when time is 0. So this would give you this particular sketch कि हमारे पास distance would be increasing, ठीक है. So if you want to find out the speed time graph from this, ठीक है, again you will find the slope. ये हम example कर चुके हैं बहुत दफा. You will have this particular shape, ठीक है, that is going to be a straight line, ठीक है. And if you want to find the acceleration of this motion using graphical methods which we have learned in recent classes, so you're going to get this particular shape of acceleration. That is going to be a constant value, ठीक है जी. So ये जो value होगी, that is going to be 9.81 meter per second square, ठीक है जी. So that states कि every object which is falling under gravity only, उस पर कोई air resistance act नहीं कर रही, ठीक है, कोई friction नहीं है, कोई opposing forces नहीं है, that is going to fall with constant acceleration of 9.81 meter per second square, and that is called acceleration of free fall. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mashal, Hamza or Ayan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So this was the graph which I have plotted in last slide. So ये distance of the ball falling है, so it's an increasing graph. तो ये इसे हम देख चुके हैं यहाँ पे, राइट. सो इससे आपने वेलोसिटी स्पीड टाइम ग्राफ देखा, इससे आपने एक्सेलेरेशन टाइम ग्राफ देखा, राइट. सो दिस बेसिकली एंड्स द चैप्टर नंबर 2